One golem every 30 seconds. That's what we were told from 1.18 and before, and when 1.19 came out, it became one golem every 35 seconds. That's a total lie. As an iron farm enthusiast, I have built every single iron farm I could find on YouTube, and I've studied them all, and every single iron farm, except for a couple, have at least one golem for every 45 seconds. And what does that mean? Well, that means you're missing iron. The information you're about to receive is extremely exclusive. In fact, nobody, and I mean nobody out there, has an iron farm that runs one golem every 35 seconds, except for me. And I'm going to show you how to build it, and I'm going to explain why that's happening. Stay tuned. What I'm about to show you is an extremely exclusive, unknown issue with iron farms that has been present since 1.19 and will continue from 1.20 and on without a fix. Well, almost without a fix, because you see, I have the only iron farm that runs one golem every 35 seconds. And this isn't it behind me. Nope, it's close, but this isn't it. All right, there's a couple of things you need to understand as to why your iron farm is slow and how to fix it. And the first thing we've got to start it off to do is we build a bunch of iron farms, and we tested them. And guess what? None of them reached one golem per 35 seconds. So I'm going to take you and show you exactly why. I built a few farms. First up on the block is Wattles Iron Farm. You can't miss this one. It's #1 in the search results, #1 on YouTube, #1 on Google. Everybody builds this farm, and judging by the views, it's the most populous farm out there. How good is it, you ask? Well, it's #4 out of the 4 farms I'm going to show you. So the first thing we did is tried to figure out how many golems per how many seconds is delivered. Wattles farm came in at one golem every 47.5 seconds. This was the highest score out of all the farms. Highest as in the longest in between golems. #1 reason, you see that one villager right there not moving? The farm keeps locking up. You have to climb up and pop something in the window to block the view of the villager, or wait for nighttime for this farm to start producing again. The second issue is how long it takes to get golems down into the killing platform and how close the killing platform is to the villagers. You see, there are two very important factors in timing in iron golem spawning when it comes to the code. The first one is called the Iron Golem Detection Query. Every 3 seconds, the brain asks the villager AI if it's seen an iron golem. And if it has, it resets what's known as the Iron Golem clock. This clock is a 30-second countdown that has to be exhausted in order to spawn a new Iron Golem. Okay, so after fixing the farm, we've got a new Iron Golem that's spawned in. And every 3 Mississippis, the brain asks the villagers, have you seen an Iron Golem? And it says yes, so it resets the clock. And it still asks again, have you seen an iron golem? And it says yes, and resets the clock. Have you seen an iron golem? Yes, he's burning in lava, and it resets the clock. And now it asks it, have you seen an iron golem? It goes, no. So it starts counting down from 30. The problem is it took 6 seconds for the iron golem to clear the spawning area and another 12 seconds to burn up down there. And this process sometimes happens a little quicker, sometimes happens a little slower. It depends upon where the golem has spawned. But in the end, the next golem will come out at 47.89 seconds. Way to go, Wattles. I love you, man, but this is too slow. All right, so the second farm built is Shulkercraft's single module farm. This thing is compact. It's got a redstone clock. It's got a bouncing zombie. What's not to like? Well, whereas Wattles farm created one golem every 47.5 seconds, this farm creates one golem every 47 seconds. And here's why. it's got an extremely small spawning platform. And although that does cut down the time and travel for the golem to the lava, there's oftentimes misses where for 10 or even 20 seconds where you should have a spawn, you won't get one because the spawning platform is too small. The second issue is on the timing on the clock. The villagers inside will panic for 3 seconds and then go to what's called task mode for 1 second. And then they will begin to panic again if inside of the zombie. But if the zombie's down for the 1.5 seconds down there, that can actually increase the time by an extra second to a second and a half per spawn. So you're asking me, what does a couple seconds difference make? Well, I'll let you know. Let's take a look at the third farm because it is mine, and we'll go from there. Candidate number 3 is my iron farm, the latest release. I'll put a card up here in the corner if you want to check out how to build this bad boy. And yes, it is a pretty darn cool iron farm. And it averages 1 golem every 41.2 seconds. Now that's over 5 seconds faster per spawn than the number 1 and number 2 iron farms on YouTube and Google, but it's still not 1 golem every 35 seconds. And even though this one does produce more iron per hour on average than the number 1 and number 2 farms, we can do better. Now, the reason why this one does better than the other two is that it has a short travel time to the lava blade, reducing golem execution to about 12 seconds in total. It has a reasonably sized spawning platform, so we don't get to miss spawns. And with the use of some wall technology down below, we keep that zombie bouncing and we keep the breakdowns to an absolute minimum, and it self-corrects within seconds. Unlike the farm where these villagers keep getting locked up. Poor Wattles. I love you, man. So I combined all of the best things about the farms below and combined them with some redstone, a little slime blocks, and here we go. This is the world's fastest iron farm. And when I say fastest, I mean it is the fastest. It creates 1 golem every 34.98 seconds. And this is a perfect opportunity to talk about why that makes a difference. Ever hear the saying, time is money? Well, I'm saying time is iron. Wattles farm at the rate of 47.5 seconds per golem means it can only create 76 golems an hour. The Shulkercraft farm at 47 seconds per golem can make 77 golems per hour. My design at 41.2 seconds per golem can make almost 88 golems per hour. That's over 10 more. That's over 40 iron ingots more than the other farms. But this bad boy right here, this makes 102 golems per hour. Let me show you what that means in ingots. Okay, so we ran tests on these iron farms, and we ran them for 12 one-hour sessions. And the results were simple. Wattles farm just averaged 4 stacks of iron per hour. The Shulkercraft farm averaged 4.5 stacks of iron ingots per hour. My little workhorse of an iron farm made 5.25 stacks of iron ingots per hour. And this doozy right here blew them away at over 7 stacks per hour. Let's demonstrate this in a full screen shot video of 1 full day in Minecraft. You see the difference between 80 golems an hour and 100 golems an hour? Well, that's 80 ingots, or at least a stack and a half. All right, so you want to know how to build this thing? Come on, I'll show you. All right, we got a blank slate world, so let's get to this. All right, so this is what you're going to need for this farm. You're going to need at least 2 stacks of building blocks. You can use a little more to get rid of some of the glass if glass is a problem for you, but it's recommended to use 2 stacks of full stacks of glass. Now, you also need 2 stacks of slabs. Now, you're not going to use all of these slabs, but if they are going to be near lava and your fire tick is on, you definitely don't want to use wood like I'm using here. You're going to want to use some type of stone slab. You're going to need 3 villagers, a zombie, and of course a name tag, or get that zombie to hold something. You're going to need 32 pieces of packed ice, not regular ice, but packed ice, or you can substitute that for 32 trapdoors. I'll show you what that looks like up at the top. There's 32 pieces of redstone dust, 4 sticky pistons, 2 cobblestone walls, 1 torch, 4 repeaters, 32 slime blocks, as well as 32 wood pressure plates. You're going to need to have an infinite water source. You're going to need to have 1 bucket of lava, 3 pieces of carpet, 3 beds, 4 hoppers, and 6 chests. And that will complete this build. All right, so we're going to do it from the point of view of where you want your storage, which is actually kind of what most people might consider the side of the farm. So pick your spot where you want your chests, and what you're going to go is 1 to the left of that, and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks over this way. You can fill in the corners or cut the corners, but we're going to go 11 total. So we're going to go 11, not counting this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then that would start us on a new one. We can fill in the corner or not. So we're going to fill in that corner, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, creating this kind of horseshoe just like this. And then we're going to want to create one with a 2 block gap. So we're going to go 1, 2, and then we're going to do 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fill in the corner if you want. We're going 11 spaces wide in the area in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to fill in the corner there and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so we should have that 2 block gap on this side. Now coming across from the side where you want your chest, which is over there, we're going to fill in this one, but we're going to dig it 2 blocks down, and we're going to dig that trench all the way across, right up to underneath those blocks here. You'll notice we didn't dig out from underneath these blocks, but we did dig out from underneath these blocks because we're going to pop those in just like that. All right, so before we forget, let's just top this whole thing with slabs. This will keep our iron golems from escaping. Now for our collection side, we're going to want to complete water across the back. That means every other block dumping some water just so it runs right up to the edge, and then do the same on the other side. All right, so now that we got our trench in, what we're going to do is pop 2 buckets of water right at the end. We're going to let that go out right to the end of 8 blocks, and we're not going to dump any more yet, but we are going to dig down 1 more block just like this. And we're going to take this out beyond our wall here. Okay, so now we've got to pop a little bit of glass here. So we're going to take 2 pieces of glass that are going to go directly under the wall. We're going to skip a gap, and then we're going to pop 2 more pieces of glass. Now in this case, we're going to dig this out 3 blocks down, and we're going to dig that back a little bit here. And of course, we're going to make this so we can get ourselves out of here, which is always a good thing. Go ahead and grab your chests and pop chest, chest, chest. Now that top chest should still open because it is under glass. Head on over to the inside of the farm, and what you're going to want to do is dig 2 across here, and then 1, 2 down just like this. Grab your hoppers and go 1 into the bottom one, 1 into the middle one, 1 into the top one, and then point this hopper into that hopper right there, and that'll make all 3 hoppers work. Now I forgot to put these into the item list, but I will be certain to tag it with some text in editing. But what we're going to do is create a very simple trough for our lava. Our lava is going to go in this block right here, so we need a sign to support it and a sign to hold it in. And then we need a sign to support it on that side and a sign to hold it in, leaving that block adjacent to the glass open just like this. Grab your lava, pour it on top of one of the signs by shift clicking, and now you should have a proper lava blade that's only 2 blocks wide. Finally, take 2 buckets and pop 1, 2, just like this, and then I'll get that golem pushed right up against that lava to kill him. And that's your collection system. Now, coming up to the middle block on one side, what we're going to do is locate the middle of the farm, which would technically be right there. Now, we're not going to pop a block forever, but we're going to use some temporary blocks here. And what we're going to do is bring it up flush, and then we're going to count up to 20 blocks. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, just like that. And now right on top of that block, we're going to pop the center block for the aerial part of our farm, and now we can just get rid of all of these. Make certain you have that water flowing again. All right, so this is going to be the center of our villager pod. So we're going to turn this into a 3x3 by going around that one block, keeping that original block that we placed in the center. And we've got beds, and we put carpets. And now we're going to ring this thing with 3 glass blocks high on all 3 sides, including the left, right, and back. Don't forget to pop that torch in just to keep your villagers safe from anything spawning up here. All right, so this next step's a little tricky, and it involves the cobblestone wall. So you're going to place 1 block on the center block right down there. You're going to grab your 2 cobblestone walls, and you're going to go 1, 2, just like this, and then you're going to take that block out. Now you have to create a little trough because we're going to balance some water on top of this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out. You can cut the corners is what I recommend, and do just like this. And now we can pour some water right on top in that space, and it doesn't leak out or down below, but it does drip. And you can use glass now and go 3 across, and then you're going to create 3 temporary blocks here, and then you're going to use 3 more blocks just like this. And then utilizing either building blocks or glass, you're going to go up 3 high on these 3 here, and you're all set. You got a pod for your zombie, and you got a pod for your villagers. All right, so zombie goes in just like that. We're going to make certain to name tag him, and then let's get his head covered just for safety's sake there so he doesn't burn up in the hot desert sun. 1, 2, 3 villagers in, and they're going to sleep because it is sunrise here. And what we're going to do is take our slabs and cover this entire thing up, including the villager pod, just like this. This is going to keep the zombies safe, it's going to keep the villagers safe, and it's going to keep spawns from happening on top. All right, so let's grab our glass. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this odd shaped thing and kind of turn it into a rectangle. So one of the best places to start here is on the side. Now we need to create a line of glass that's 11 blocks long. We have these 3 blocks already there, so we're going to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like this. And then let's pop 9, 10, 11 out the front, just like that. And now this creates 11 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blocks, just like this. And we're going to mirror this with the top portion of that. So we're going to match it up and make it 11 blocks long. Now, once you get that in place and you feel good about that whole thing, the rest of this is pretty easy. So what you're going to do, now we need to go 5 blocks across, or basically line up with those guys there. So we're going to count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do the same for the top, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that lines us up with that wall right there, which we can just match up with the other side to create 11. And now we have these gaps here. This will make our 5 across the front. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that. So it's 1 already in place, 2 we add, 3's in place, 4 we add, 5's in place. And if you'll notice, this is going to be the point where we're going to splat our zombies against so that they can drop into the collection chamber down below. All right, so now we need to create our gap. And so what we're going to do is come out 2 and down 1, just like this, utilizing temporary blocks. We're going to grab our ice and pop it right there. Now, if you're using trapdoors, you'll want to do a temporary block where the ice is, and then do block, just like this. Take out that temporary block and turn that into a trap door. But in our case, we just want ice and block. And that's what we do. And we're going to match it right up along. It's one block lower than this glass thing here. So starting off with 1, we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we should be lined up perfectly with that. And then we're going to add 2 blocks to the back of each piece of ice. Now do the same thing to the other side. Come out 2, down 1, and that's where our ice piece is going to be. And of course, add 2 blocks to the back of each piece of ice. You'll have to do that in reverse if you're doing your trapdoors, which I'll show you how that looks right now. So trapdoors, what you'd want to do is come out 2, go down 1, and then go 1, 2, just like this. Then knock out those temporary blocks, grab your trapdoor and go there, and then match it up. Now we're doing a short side here, so it's going to be 2 on the back, and this one's only 5 long instead of 11 long. And then just come around the front here and pop your trapdoors, all hinged so that they go down up against the blocks just like that. If you need to see it one more time, you come out 2, down 1, temporary, forever block. Get rid of the 4 temporaries, make it 5 wide, 2 back, and then pop your trapdoors right on the front. That means we have a 2 block gap, and it's technically the next block down from that one, just like that. But they're lined up, all ready for some face smashing. All right, so in the back of these, you're going to want to put 1 permanent block, 1 temporary block, 1 permanent block, and then knock out that temporary block just like that. So you get something that looks like this in the center of all of these platforms. All right, so your 4 sticky pistons go on that top raised block in the back here. Then you're going to take your 4 repeaters and just leave it there on 1 tick. Point it into the block below the sticky piston. Across the back row here, you're going to drop nothing but redstone. And in between the redstone and the ice, you're going to drop nothing but pressure plates, just like this. All right, here's a quick look from the air at the short sides, the 5 sides, and the 11 sides. Now grab your slime blocks, and what you're going to do is go 1, 2, and you'll see how it covers the redstone up, but not the pressure plates. That's exactly what you want. And then just bring it out so that there's a total of 12 blocks on the 11 block long, 1 in the back and then 11 across. You need 6 blocks for the 5 block ones, 1 in the back and 5 across. All right, and the very last thing to this farm is going to be some last little bit of spawn proofing. Golems can spawn on top of slime blocks and pistons. They cannot spawn on top of the pressure plates, but they can spawn on ice, and they can spawn on trapdoors that serve as the top portion of a block. So what you need to do is prevent golems from spawning up here. So give yourself 1 gap and put glass over every single piece of slime and the piston as well, just like this. Make certain to do it on the short sides. Make certain everything's covered up. Now the iron golems can't spawn on glass or these slabs here, so we're looking good. Now what happens is iron golems are 1.5 blocks wide. So you're saying, what's to stop them from spawning on the end of this block? Well, they never spawn on the end of blocks. They always spawn in the center, which means they're 1.5. So they go 1 here, and then a 1/4 block out this way, a 1/4 block out that way, 1/4 block out this way, and a 1/4 block out that way. And that means they always, always, always trip the boom and get pushed off immediately. All right, now that we've got everything in place, we can come in here, get rid of our temporary blocks and wake up those villagers. Ta-da! All right. Now, the reason why this works so fast is, remember that 3-second question where it goes, hey, have you seen an iron golem? Well, this gets rid of the iron golem and knocks them out of detection range in less than a second, which means that that first time that question is asked after spawning, it doesn't interrupt or reset the clock, and we get one golem every 34.98 seconds, which, let's call it one golem every 35. And as you can see, that feels a lot quicker than your farm you've already got going right now, right? Listen, I know it's a lot of redstone and slime blocks, but if you're into efficiency or you're into having the biggest, baddest iron farm ever, well, this is it. And guess what? It is tileable and scalable. All you have to do is make certain the farm next to it, and yes, you can easily run farms right next to each other, is at least 16 blocks away from the villagers in here. Yeah, give it some space. Watch my other video there, the card at the beginning of the video, or look for it at the end of this video, and you can find out how to space so that you don't get golem detection across from farms, and you can tile this one. Now, as far as the collection systems go, this is the best I can think of, but maybe you could do better. Let me know. I'd love to see your results. Send me pictures at aristotlegaming@gmail.com. I'd love to see them. Thank you, and good night.